For centuries, a simple truth has defined global power. Whoever rules the waves rules the world. Navies were everything. But what if that's not true anymore? What if the entire rulebook is being thrown out?
Welcome to the Global War Watch Network. Today, we are looking at a revolutionary shift in military strategy that changes, well, pretty much everything you thought you knew about war at sea. If you want to stay on top of this kind of analysis, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button right now. You won't want to miss what's coming.
You know, the thinking was always pretty straightforward. If you control the sea, you control global trade, you control everything. And this idea led to an epic arms race for bigger, badder fleets. The king of it all, the Aircraft Carrier Strike Group. I mean, it's a floating city, a fortress that could project power to any corner of the planet.
But here's the twist. What if that multi-billion-dollar warship, just packed with the most advanced defenses imaginable, is actually just a sitting duck, a target for a missile fired from a truck, hiding hundreds of kilometers inland? This isn't some sci-fi movie plot. This is the new reality of warfare, and believe me, it changes the entire game.
Okay, so let's get right into it. We're talking about a world where the very idea of sea power is being completely rewritten, and it's not being done by sailors on ships, but by soldiers on solid ground. So CSIS puts it this way, and it's a crucial point. Land isn't just one of the battlefields anymore. No, it is the central hub. It's the anchor that makes everything else, air power, sea power, you name it, even possible. It's the foundation for literally everything.
And it makes perfect sense when you stop and think about it, right? Your Air Force, it's grounded without airfields. Your Navy, it's dead in the water without ports to refuel and rearm. Your satellites in space, totally blind without ground stations to talk to. And all that cyber warfare stuff, it's nothing without the physical, land-based fiber optic cables. See? If you control the land, you control the on-ramps to every other domain of warfare. Okay, so how exactly does a missile truck in a forest sink a destroyer hundreds of kilometers out at sea? A ship that's way over the horizon. The secret sauce is something called the networked kill chain.
Picture it like a giant invisible web. It's not about one weapon, it's about the connection. Way up in space, a satellite, that's your sensor, spots an enemy ship. And a flash, that targeting data zips down to a command center on the ground. That center then gives the green light to a missile launcher. That's your shooter. And here's the kicker. The shooter never even sees the target. It doesn't have to. The network does all the seeing for it.
The military calls this over-the-horizon targeting, or OTHT, and it completely flips the script on naval combat. This isn't about ships slugging it out anymore. It's about a land-based network seeing and striking from hundreds of miles away, effectively turning huge patches of the ocean into deadly no-go zones. This whole process runs on something strategists call the OTA loop: observe, orient, decide, and act. It's basically a race. Whoever can cycle through this loop the fastest wins. And when your eyes, your sensors, are in space, and your brain, your command post, is on land, that loop becomes blindingly fast and incredibly lethal. You can find, fix, and finish a naval target before it even knows it's been seen.
And if you're thinking this is all just theory, you're wrong. We have seen this new reality play out with absolutely devastating effect in the war in Ukraine.
Just look at this number. In one single strike in 2022 on the Saki Air Base in Crimea, Ukrainian forces operating from land knocked out over half of Russia's Black Sea naval combat jets. They didn't need a massive fleet to do it. They used precise land-based weapons to cripple Russia's ability to project power from the air over the sea.
And this quote from CSIS really nails it. I mean, from sinking Russia's flagship, the Moskva, to hitting bomber bases deep inside Russia, Ukraine has shown the world that by controlling key pieces of land, a smaller power can go toe-to-toe with a much larger navy and air force. They've effectively weaponized their own territory.
So, we've got the theory, we've got the proof of concept. Now, let's apply this new rulebook to one of the most critical strategic chessboards in the world today: the growing competition in the Indian Ocean between China and India. So for China, everything hinges on what's known as the Malacca Dilemma. A massive chunk of their energy, their oil, their trade, it all has to squeeze through this one narrow strait. It's a huge strategic choke point, a massive vulnerability. And this fear is exactly what's driving China to build a gigantic blue water navy to protect these vital sea lanes.
Now, take a quick look at these numbers. If this was an old-school naval fight, you'd think it's game over, right? China's Navy, the PLN, has a staggering numerical advantage over India in destroyers and frigates. On paper, this looks like a total mismatch.
But the new rules of war completely changed the math. India's geography, that massive peninsula jutting out into the ocean, acts like a giant, unsinkable aircraft carrier. It's parked right in the middle of all the action. This landmass gives India a massive asymmetric advantage, letting it threaten those same sea lanes with its own land-based missiles and aircraft.
But here's the thing. To make that unsinkable aircraft carrier work, you need one absolutely critical ingredient: information. The real first battle in any modern conflict isn't fought with missiles, it's fought in space. You have to see the enemy before they see you.
And this is exactly where China has been pouring money to counter India's geographic advantage. Just look at this gap in space-based intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance assets, ISR for short. China has built a huge constellation of spy satellites specifically designed to find and track ships at sea. It gives them a massive head start in this information war. And this network is seriously sophisticated. They have Yagyan satellites that fly in groups of 3 to triangulate a ship's position. They have Gaofeng satellites that can take crystal-clear pictures in any weather, day or night. And then they have Tianlian satellites that act like space-based internet routers, beaming all that data around in real time to speed up the entire kill chain.
So let's zoom back out. What does all of this, the networks, the missiles, the satellites, mean for the future of naval power? What does it mean for those huge, expensive warships that have been the symbol of military might for more than 100 years?
Well, it's a complete paradigm shift. The old way was controlling the sea with ships. The new reality is about controlling the sea from land-based hubs. The most important targets aren't necessarily the enemy fleet anymore, but the ports and airfields that support it. And in this new world, the mighty aircraft carrier starts to look less like the ultimate weapon and more like the ultimate target.
And that brings us to our final big question. In a world where the oceans are becoming transparent, watched by countless eyes in space and threatened by missiles that can strike from hundreds of miles inland, is the century-long reign of the aircraft carrier finally coming to a close?
We have to leave it there for today. So, what do you think? Is the age of the super carrier done for, or will navies find a way to adapt? I really want to know what you think, so drop your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks for joining us at the Global War Watch Network. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and you can follow us on social media. All the links are in the description. We'll see you for the next one.